All right, guys. On this episode, we have a special guest.
They're all special.
They are all special. I tried to track him down last March at JLC.
He shut you down.
He did shut me down. We were trying to get him on the podcast live there. He was working.
It was super last minute, though.
Well, yeah, we were like, let's sneak another one in. And I was like, let me go talk to this guy. And I ran over, and I think it's a cool story, an amazing personality, and brings a ton of value to his company.
Give him a hint.
I hope this helps.
We're not on the podcast, are we?
Oh, no, we're rolling.
Yeah.
Are we really?
Yeah, it's
okay,
cool.
good. I'm not going to say what I said to the doctor.
Come on.
Yeah, so tomorrow when I'm lifting, I got to be really easy.
The dude sneezes and looks like he got in a car accident.
Yeah.
Dude.
No, I had
not again.
I had these massive coughing fits.
Yeah.
And man, there was one time I was coughing and hacking so bad. I was on the bathroom floor and I was like, how the hell did I get here? I blacked out.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, so I thought, it started up here where I was holding my gut, my ab. Some people have ab.
Yeah.
I do too, but mine's an ab.
It's one big ab.
One big ab.
ABBA? You like ABBA?
I love ABBA.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And it's where I was holding it, so that's where I thought, oh, God, I guess I just grabbed it too much. And then it crept and then just like spread all over. I was like, oh, my God. And when my wife saw that, holy macanoli.
Oh, my God.
It was wild.
That's crazy.
It is. I never thought that stuff happens. It was a big, big bruise is what it was.
Yeah. Was this recently?
I spent 2.5 weeks basically in the house in bed over the holidays.
Oh.
And it was kind of like a triple ding because I basically didn't celebrate Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? My wife's birthday is in between Christmas and New Year's. And we spent New Year's basically just chilling out.
And my birthday is the 2nd. How were you on the 2nd?
I was fine, and boy, thank you for coming over to the house. That was great, man. That was the first time I had a beer.
That's good. I'm glad you felt better for my birthday. You only turned 33 once.
That's wow. Yeah, I just turned 32 last
You
May.
look good.
Thank you.
I was going to say maybe 31.
Yeah, so.
So, John, you can stop being a baby about your cold.
Oh, no, I stopped already. Yeah, I'm done.
John was like, so I have a cold. Brian's like,
I brought my
let me get
tissues. Yeah, I bruised myself from coughing.
Yeah.
Like, back off. I get it.
My ab was purple.
Yeah.
My ab.
Actually, that last year I went to one of those urgent care places because I was coughing for so long. I felt like I'd cracked a rib, and it just turned out that I had torn some sort of cartilage in there. But when they gave me the x-ray for my chest, they found a piece of metal in my ribs that has been there since I was probably 19. I was chopping out like a metal gutter, interior gutter in a roof, and part of the hatchet chipped off, and it went into like my skin, and I always just assume, like I can still feel it. I always just assume.
Where is this going?
I always just assumed that it was scar tissue, but then when they took the x-ray, they're like, do you know that you have metal stuck in your chest? Yeah?
Selby's throwing up everywhere.
Oh, no. All right.
Can I get a hand?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
See ya.
I thought he was going to say, remember when I was up on the roof and that nail gun had that bump feature?
Yeah.
Man, and I kind of felt a little bit of an itch right there. I had a 16-penny nail in there.
Oh, my
I
God.
can see that.
I had a buddy do that. He was shooting with early on the first pinna, micro pinna, 23 gauge. And still to this day, that brand doesn't have a safety on it. And he went like that, and I went, and he went, oh, I must have misfired. So he started itching right here.
There's so little. It's like you don't know. You feel it, but you don't know.
And it bumped on it, and he went like this, and he went, huh. So he continued building. He was a cabinet maker. And all of a sudden he went, you know what? Something's not right. So he went home. And on the way home, he stopped at his chiropractor. And he goes, hey, you got a scalpel? And it was like the weirdest thing. And they went like this, and they started cutting it open. And he goes, "Oh my God!" He goes, he called him an ambulance. It went into his bone and into the marrow.
Oh,
What?
He was in intensive care for a week. Oh yeah,
My stomach turned on that.
yeah. It was.
I've shot myself once, and it was I was building a doghouse, and I was using my knee to square up like the corner, and I had a framing gun, and I shot down to nail the top of the top plate onto the little stud, and of course it hit something. It came out and hit my knee cap.
Yep.
It didn't go into the bone, but like it was in my leg, and I was like, I don't know what to do, and I had to lift the doghouse up to get it. So because I was standing on the ground, and it's like basically holding my leg to the ground, and I'm like, boop, all right. Luckily, I didn't. I mean, no, not in my bone marrow by any means, but
man.
it just was in the side of my leg.
Ever since
Knock
that,
on with it only once.
ever since that guy shot himself, my buddy. It sounds weird. I say shot yourself. Is if I've ever shot myself before, and I've hit it. I've only did it a couple times. I always start feeling if it hit the bone. Like I shot a crown staple straight down my index finger once. I was by myself in my shop. I pulled it out and I went, "What's the first thing you do when you do something like that?" I usually look around to see if anybody saw me. Yeah, do that, right? You're all by yourself. It's
Right.
like when you fall off a ladder.
Yeah.
I don't check to
Oh,
see
yeah.
if I'm okay.
I
I
look
look
to see
around and see
the
if any of my
neighbors
buddies saw
outside.
me, right?
yeah.
And I always feel that if I hit the bone. That's what you ever shoot yourself with a gun?
I've been around enough crews where I've been the guy like putting people back together
Yeah.
after they've been shot. Where you're sitting there in like the freezing cold, and you're trying to, you put that band around the bottom plate, and it's freezing out, and the guy shoots it, and he's trying to hold it because the band will kind of roll up. I remember it like it was yesterday in Newton. Shoots it, and it basically curls right out and through his thumb, and he just looks up at me, and he's just like, "What's up?" Like didn't even realize it happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, you shot yourself in the thumb," and he's just like. And then we go down there, and I take out my first aid kit and, put them back together. And he's just like, "Dude, that killed." I was screaming. I go, "I was standing there. You didn't say a peep." Like, what was happening internally or what was happening verbally was totally different. And I've been shot by people. Like, I'll be walking job sites, and we were in also Newton Project, and they were, I think I had like 7 guns going. So they had the compressor maxed all the way up, had an auxiliary tank that was maxed all the way up so they get the pressure out to everybody. And this guy I was walking through with another guy through the garage, and they were putting up sheathing, and they got to the window, and the nails were just like, I stopped myself because I heard like stuff pinging off this wall, and I was like, "What is that?" And I looked that way, and I got shot in the shoulder, and it was sticking out of my shoulder, and I was like, and it was the boss of the crew that I was walking with to kind of go through the progress, and he just like stopped everything because it literally through the sheets, still full stretch, like it went in my shoulder, I pulled it out, there's still a scar. And I got shot somewhere else by somebody else.
Huh, wild.
That's why, like when they were shooting today on the studs and they were
Yeah.
pointing the gun, I was like, "Just don't stand down."
Dude, my father hired this kid came into the wood shop one day. He was there. I was like 14 or 15 years old, and he was supposed to like be a helper. And he came in, and he thought it would be funny to take the nail gun and start shooting around the shop. And I was like, dude, fired.
Yeah.
I'm like, "See you later."
Yeah.
And my father's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "The kid literally walked in here. He's been in an hour, and he's taking the nail gun, pretending it's a machine gun, shooting at me."
Yeah.
I'm like, who? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's-
funny.
The old guys on my crew used to shoot the squirrels that would go after you'd have like the picnic table, and the squirrels would go up to the coolers and try and get into them.
Because they were hungry?
Yeah,
Or?
the squirrels would kind of get into the coolers.
No,
So
the guys shooting, or were they hungry?
No. So they would basically want to protect the food, so we wouldn't get off the roof. They just aim the framing gun at the squirrels and try and just scare them away.
That's
That's what I grew up with. I was like, I was a laborer back then. I'm like, "I'll just go down." And they're like, "No, we got it." Like,
Yeah.
pulling the safety back and just letting them rip.
Gosh.
That's so cool in a way.
Yeah.
But hopefully PETA ain't listening.
Kind of redneckish.
Yeah, right.
Too cool.
So you're here actually for a Pro to Pro event.
Yes. Yeah. We filmed it today down in Jeff's shop, Jeff Sweeney's shop. And it's the first one I had been involved with.
You guys are a recent sponsor to it, right?
Yeah, we are.
That's awesome.
Festool and This Old House, Pro to Pro. I think it went off fantastic.
Live's hard. It's hard. Like there's just so many variables that you you only have. I think Doug, you can correct me. Is it 40 seconds to correct or something like that? It's like there's like a
delay.
Yeah, there's like a 40-second delay where it's like.
Yeah, it's variable, but it's usually something like that.
Yeah, and it's like I remember, like one of the first, like I was on the first one with Ross, and it was just like everything. There's just so like it's just so much more difficult than creating a video. But
Yeah.
I think so many people are tuning in, and it's just another way to produce content and kind of interact. And the whole point of it is to connect pros to other professionals in the industry.
Yeah, and when Jeff was setting this up, and he was really concerned to make sure it was the right application. He really didn't want to stage a lot. He wanted to make sure it had the good flow.
Yeah.
And I was stoked to be part of it because with Festool, I thought we should be a minor part of it. It was more of a teaching event, a pro to the rest of the pros out there, and we just happened to be using Festool,
Right.
which was really important because Jeff was the star. You know, what did he say? I loved it when he opened up, and he said, I've been doing this for 30 years, and we've built over 300 homes. Man, that's a serious.
That's a strong statement.
Right.
Oh, even when we did a quick rehearsal through just to make sure, we had everything set where we wanted it. I was blown away by that statistic. That's some serious building, huh, guys?
Yeah, I'm working my way up that way.
I think you guys, as Festool, take a unique approach to it. It's like it's never about the tools, or it's never like it's just you guys want to be involved with it, and they just happen to be using the stuff, and not because for any other reason besides the fact that it genuinely makes their job easier.
Yeah, and it's really tough from our standpoint sometimes for the company is, oh God, I don't want to sound arrogant whatsoever, but we make a really great power tool. And trying to show that value of it. And, the first thing we always hear is, boy, you make really expensive tools.
It's always the cost.
It always is. But and I was discussing this with somebody over dinner. And I can't tell you how many people have come up to me, whether at a trade show or a training I do around the country, is, dude, I don't know why I waited so long. It's the pro. He goes, I was sniffing around this for so long. And he goes, you know how much time I could have saved? He goes, I didn't know that I could do this with this tool.
Right.
And it's all about being more productive and showing the time on it. So we try not to be pushy with it, but that's the value proposition that we are up against. I don't want to say up against, but we want to make sure we would want to do it in the right light with
genuine.
the professional.
Yeah, it's genuine.
With the professionals, because
Right.
that's who we design our tools for.
Right, not the hobbyist.
And it's just nice that a lot of these enthusiasts like our tools as well. And we don't forget them as either.
No. I mean, when I was a carpenter, I was always trying to work my way up to. I didn't understand. I remember the first guy. I had three thoughts right there. I'm sorry. When I first figured out what Festool was, I remember the first guy that came on site was a Brookline project. I was a carpenter. We were doing this whole house over, and the kitchen came with its own installer. Okay, the kitchen came from like Canada, own installer. This guy showed up in like an Astro van. It was like a real cubic van, cubey van, and he rolls out with like all these kind of. I thought it was like contraptions, but it was the Festool sustainers, but it was on like the little cart and everything. And I'm like, to me, it was like seeing a Martian. I'm like, what is this dude doing? And then he'd set up shop, whole thing, and I was like, I literally was like, this guy's a joke. Like I had no idea what it was. And then once I kind of like kept sniffing around the kitchen, like he basically taped the kitchen off, like you weren't allowed in it. And it was like this unbelievable thing, and his tools are all like organized, and I'm like, what is going on right now? And then ever since that day, I was like, all right, he just raised the bar for me. Like I didn't know it would be like going to like, this is back when they had like tool shops, like where they had like in New Hampshire, they had a big tool store. They had all that. They all kind of passed away over the years. Now Woodcraft's still around and some others. And then I was always working my way up where you buy so many jigsaws. whatever the product name is. You buy enough of them, you're like, dude, I just want to stop buying. There's a point where you're young, you want to buy a lot of tools.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get over that hump and you're like, I just want to buy my last tool.
Yeah, I want to buy the last
my
one.
last jigsaw, my last whatever. And it's like, and that's what I did. I ended up, not sucking it up, but I was like, I'm done. If I buy 3 of these jigsaws, I'm like, why am I going to keep doing this? I know it fails every time. I use the crap out of it every day. So I bought my tools, and I basically transitioned over I was probably 12 years in, and I bought everything that basically died on me. I then moved on to Festool.
Yeah.
And then I have a small group of stuff where it was sanders, jigsaws, routers, all that stuff that was really stuff that I needed every day that I couldn't live without. And I made that transition.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like we talk all the time about investing in quality tools or investing in the right
People.
the tool
Yeah.
because it's just going to make your job easier. And I mean, everyone uses the terms drinking the Kool-Aid, right?
Yeah.
And I remember in the beginning it was like you buy one, and I started with the Traxxar, as many do.
Yeah.
That's how I did.
And it trickled into this, for a while it was just me, then it was a helper, and then we started expanding, and my guys realizing like a lot of these tools are making my job more efficient and easier and more enjoyable. And the more enjoyable part, I think, is the biggest contender and why we purchase it, because I want my guys to enjoy what they do.
Yeah.
Well, if you buy the right tools, you eliminate excuses.
Right.
That's a good one. I never heard that like that. That's a good one, man.
Yeah.
That's a good one, John.
Well, yeah, that's what it is.
Hey, I always use, and I talk about this, I must have told this story 1,000 times. I was up in Canada in Toronto at a trade show once, and I see this guy just looking at the Capex on the stand. And he's kind of middle-aged dude, right? And he's kind of chuckling, looking at that. And he was looking at the clamp I had set up on it. So I walk up, I go, hey, you want to see the Capex? He goes, no, I bought it last week. And I go, so what do you do? And he goes, I'm a trim carpenter, up and then I do a lot of stuff up in the high rises here in Toronto. And I go, he kind of takes his elbow and nudges me. He goes, dude, I've been doing this for so damn long. And I always hear from people, I'm kind of phasing out of my job because I'm getting older. This guy goes, thanks for making my job fun again. And he said, but I never saw those clamps. Show me how those work. So I showed him the clamps, so what I went home that night and I got on my computer and I opened it up and I sent it to everybody in North America, Festool North America. And I said, everybody listen. They go, we're making these guys have fun on the job again.
Yeah.
Okay, and it sounds fun. It sounds funny I say that, but here's a guy who was stuck in his ways and he finally, how do you say, I hate saying drank the Kool-Aid, but he actually bought into our brand.
Right.
And he's like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. I thought this was kind of gimmicky or whatever. And I didn't understand all of this. And then, it's just the way it works. People have to sniff around something for a while.
Yeah.
Because they see, oh wow, what's so special about this brand?
Especially if there's a dollar value, right? It's like I need to understand or see the value in it, and I'm gonna watch other people basically prove to me that there is value.
But you have to wrap your head around, to take it to another level. Like my town, Sherborne, is a small town, 4,000 residents. The school system's ranked number 1 in the country, but it has the highest tax rate in the state. So you're like, and basically houses don't sell there quickly because you have to really wrap your head around what it costs to. Sorry, people are dropping off beers. Sorry,
I like this podcast thing. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Chris from Pro to Pro, this old house. What's your handle?
At Pro to Pro TOH.
He needs a mic. At Pro to Pro TOH. Dropping off some beers. What do you got? Anything good? IPA. But my point is that you have to commit.
I have a side part.
Oh yeah, and no one would buy into that town because you have to commit. Meaning you really got to really make sure that you know your numbers and know what it is. And I think the same thing goes with the Festool. Is that it took me a while to realize that buying 3 jigsaws, you're basically just putting a Band-Aid on something.
Right.
Yep.
So it was just getting to a point where it's like, all right, I get it now. And then I had it all, and you do. It's I forget what podcast it was on Joe Rogan with like the scientist. He's like, I don't put protection on my phone. It makes you rethink about how you use that phone. What you put that phone, like, do you just throw it around? Do you put it in your pocket? Do you protect it? How you work with that? Same thing. You buy a tool like that, you respect it more.
Right.
Yes.
And then it lasts you longer.
Yeah.
And your guys respect it because it's saving them time.
Yeah.
And
they're
they
getting their
understand.
job done more efficiently.
Right. And they understand the cost behind it.
Yep.
And it's like, you know,
I had to.
you know, they're not only are they we're investing in it, but like they're investing too, and to Johnny's point, respect the tool and, you know, use it for what it is. And going to your back to your point about no excuses, it's like I remember we had one domino machine and I had two guys doing interior casing, and I walked on the job, I'm like, well, why didn't you domino that miter? It's like, we don't have a domino. Like, then get one. Like,
Solve it.
Yeah.
I'll have it dropped off tomorrow. Like, that's just.
But you know, on a project, like showing how most guys do trim and then seeing how everyone's doing, you know, the clamps and the dominoes, it's showing value to clients.
Right.
That, hey, you're taking a step beyond, and let's be honest, it's not that much more work. It's like
Nope.
back in the old days, the
Yeah.
biscuit joiner. Like,
Yep.
I used to love that thing. And
Yep.
now you're getting a better joint, a better bond with this product, and you're not losing time.
Yep.
It's actually saving you time, because if you're accountable for that trim and you have to make sure it stays tight and it opens up, you have to come back.
Right.
Yep.
And if you can solve that any way along the path, whether you're a mechanical guy or HVAC or whatever, if you can save time and coming back on your trips, it's lights out.
Oh, yeah. Sure. You can be more productive that way. Move on to another job.
I think 2 years ago, I came out with a couple guys, Jeff Mack, Kiefer. But one of the biggest takeaways from that.
Is this a humble brag? Is he dropping names?
No big deal, but
I'm kind of a big deal.
This is going to sound weird, but that 2 days I spent with you guys,
best day of your life.
it changed me.
For the good?
Yeah. It really did. How I started to really look at social media. And
Well, you guys were at a crossroad. Like
I was.
Yeah, like where was that going to go? What you were doing?
What was fill me in. What was the crossroad?
He was doing.
Why were you? Where were you?
Okay.
We were in Indiana at the Festool
training center.
Our
North America headquarters.
And we were there. I don't remember the reason we were there. I think it was about social media, really.
It was. Tyler came up to me. He's our social media guru. Yeah, Tyler, I said guru. And he's such a cool guy. And he said, Sedge, this was about a month before he was getting you guys all together. And he goes, I'm bringing all these influencers in.
Air quotes.
And I went, Tyler, what's an influencer? I was living in the dark ages. Okay. And he mentioned a few names. And I go, oh, wait a minute. Is that Kiefer, linebacker, Toolaholic? Is that Kiefer? I go, he came into the booth up in Construct Canada. I met him. He's wicked cool. And then he started naming, and he goes, who's and he said NS Builders, and I went, I think I met that guy at JLC, and I had met you at JLC, hadn't I, Nick?
Yeah.
Okay, and
It sprayed me in the face with the
yeah,
the
you remember that?
CrossFit stuff.
Yeah, I know.
You were like, dude, I'm so sorry.
I
It
know,
wasn't supposed to happen.
and then when I saw you, I went, oh, that's the dude I got. Right? And then Paul was there.
Yep.
Tool Pig, Paul
Yep.
Sprague, and a couple other guys. Oh,
Jeff Mack.
Oh my God! I hesitated in saying Jeff Mack, but I've spent a bit of time after that with him as well.
Yeah.
And he's becoming a good friend, and he's the guy who coaches me the most. He'll, like, if I see him at a show, he goes, "Hey, Sedge, do this with your account," and I went, "Oh, is that cool?" Because I was just down at Rubio Monocoat in Austin, Texas, with him and another bunch of really cool furniture makers, and that was such a hoot. We had all this raw material, and I was there as the Festool coach, and Rubio was there with their product. It was at their training center that we helped supply some tools for, and we're gonna do it a couple more times in 2019 coming up, and it was just a great mix of people down there. So to continue that story, if you don't mind,
Sure.
what we started is it was a 2-day training with all these influencers. And anybody out there listening, I apologize because I'm probably forgetting a bunch of people that were there. But you guys were like, Nick came up to me the second day with Kiefer and Jeff and a few of the others, and they said, Sedge, we were talking last night, and you came up to me and said, you know what you taught me on the domino yesterday? I was using it about the sixth of its potential. I've been happy with it.
Right.
But boy, what you showed me in that like half hour, 45 minutes, you got to do videos on this. And that's kind of how I started Festool Sedge.
Yeah. And that was the biggest takeaway for me. Like, I went back. I remember trying to retain everything you taught in 2 days, because it was like tool after tool. And I'm like, I didn't know it did that. Didn't know it did that. Didn't know it did that. Yeah. It's like over and over and over. And then when you start doing the videos, it's like, and you're watching, you're getting the reciprocation from it. Now it's like everyone uses them to like 1/5 of their potential.
Yeah. And Martin, I always forget his last name, but he's MK Holdings 123.
Oh yeah, he was there.
Yeah, he was there, and he's just such a fun guy. And he also coached me on a few things.
Yeah.
And the big thing I got take away from that is, all you guys have a good vibe. You're all like real positive. And then when I started investigating Instagram through the couple of weeks before I started, I was like, wow, everybody's positive on this. And what a great sharing community.
Yeah.
So then I just said, you know what, and I keep thinking back about the domino. And I thought about something that in our training programs that I could do in 60 seconds. And it was cleaning the lens. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Cleaning the lens. That was an aha moment.
Well, he was like, who here has cleaned the lens by using a chisel to clean it off? And I was like, and he was like, yeah, that's wrong. It's ruined now. You need a new one. I'm like, all right.
Show me how to do this. And I took a screwdriver. It's a posi drive screwdriver. And you just loosen the screw on the side, and you pop the lens, and it comes out. I've had people, I'm in a shop, and I go, hey, I got a problem with my K-Pex. It only has one laser. I go, you get a posi drive screwdriver, take a couple turns, and I've taken these lenses out, and they're just caked. And what it is, it's a protective lens for the lasers. Okay, and nobody knows that. It's a 60-second fix.
All right.
So I did that, and I switched my account, because I remember you guys saying, hey, how many followers you got? And that first day, and I always got a kick out of it, because my tag on there used to be Sedge 520. And you asked, everybody was asking, hey, how many followers? We were all joking around, and Kiefer said something like 70K or at that time, or 75K, and you said something like, I'm ready to hit 45K. They go, and somebody asked Sedge, how many you got? And I go, 146. You got 146K? I go, no, I only got 146. And then somebody said, if you do this and call it Festool Sedge, and I did, and it's my personal account still to this day. I kind of get the blessings from everybody after a while, and
yeah,
and it's kind of it. I just think we just went over 20,000 followers.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. You are over 20 now.
Oh wow, and I'm kind of blown away, because what I'm doing is just helping people learn about Festool in 60 seconds at a time. It's usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I started on a day that I love celebrating, March 16th. 17th, sorry. St. Patty's Day. And, oh, geez, maybe I started a little too early on St. Patty's Day. And it's something I can remember really quick, and I've been doing it about 1 year and 8 months.
That's awesome.
And I always joke around when I meet you guys who are on Instagram, and you got all these followers, and you guys, Sedge, you're doing good, and it's awesome. And I go, I still do not know what I'm doing.
The first thing you said to me earlier.
And I'm just having fun. And I think that's the name of the game. I have met so many, and I'm going to say it, young people that have come up to me and said, oh, my God, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much from your account. It's all a lot of contractors are in their 20s and 30s, and they're out there humping, and they're trying to figure out some of the stuff that they bought from Festool. And maybe I teach them a couple tip and a trick, and it's going to save them a ton of time, because they're doing it. They're jumping through major hoops that they don't need to jump through. It's right there. We built it into that tool.
This is challenging enough, this industry.
Right.
Like, to try and accomplish some of the things and the tasks you have in the day, where if you can give these guys an advantage, we said this in the first Kukin Brothers thing.
Yeah.
You know, like if you can give, that's the first thing. Not get away from the whole, the emotional part, or it's a selfie mode or whatever it is, and being self-conscious, and being able to give someone a tip that maybe it saves them an hour in the day, and they get home for their kids where they've maybe missed, maybe they missed homework, maybe they've missed dinner for the last 2 weeks. You're able to do that. That's it's kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, you're helping them in their number one priority, which is their family.
At the same point, I feel like there's so many things that your tools do, like Nick said, that people aren't using them to their full capacity. So you're getting the information out there where these people are realizing, hey, I didn't even know I was happy with this tool before. And now I know that it does this, which is obviously better for your company, better for everyone else. But, I mean, if you have a tool that people are using and happy with it, and then they're learning that they're basically underutilizing all of the features of that tool, I mean, that's a plus for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember, I think it was Jeff Mack. I think he brought it up. He was like, dude, I bought a sander. It's $500. I get swirl marks every time I do this. And nonchalantly, like, what's your vacuum setting at? Well, high. He's like, and you're like, turn it down. Yep. And he turned it down, and he's like, why didn't I know that?
Yeah, it floats the sander.
Yeah, like it's ripping the sander against the wood. It's you're ripping material. Like that's, everyone thinks that. It's like I'm turning my vacuum all the way up. I want all the dust out of the way, and it's just obviously like all of that information. I assume because I've never actually read any of the handbooks, right?
Yeah, neither
come
have
with
I.
the tool, but you're putting everything that's in that in a format that people not only are entertained and enjoy, but like they're understanding it. It's like you're solving all of those nuances. Every single problem that we had with a tool, you immediately knew how to rectify it because you knew exactly what we were doing wrong.
It's just like we talked on the phone, Chris Armides and myself, about the HK saw. And people say sometimes it doesn't seem like it's powered well going through the 2x material. I go, why don't we switch the blade to the 12-tooth blade? Right? Less resistance in there. And it's like, bang, light went off, right?
Yeah, it made a huge difference for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just that whole idea that, we were talking earlier about how it comes with the 18 tooth and people don't realize that there are those other options out there. Just getting back to the whole, what Sedge is doing with his Instagram account, and that idea that because we're all everybody's so busy, nobody reads the manuals on their tools, and Sedge is providing this like quick, easy to digest, easy to understand things that are in the manuals, but we're not. We're not even. I was testing tools for a while for Tools of the Trade, my previous job, and part of my job then was to sit and look at the manual, and it's a miserable, grueling thing to do. To get into all that stuff. So to have a place where I think
he's also on a platform where like you're limited to 60 seconds. That's how long you have my attention for. I mean, I remember before Instagram, it's like, hey, I'm going to look up a video on how to use this tool or how to fix, like, I can't get my blade off. How do I do it? And it's like a 14-minute video of a guy in his garage, and he talks about how great the tool is for 5 minutes, and I'm fast-forwarding it, and then the blade's already off, and then I'm like trying to rewind it. And it's just, Chris, you said it perfectly, a quick hit. It's like, this is right to the point.
Yeah.
Starts with
I think
a giggle
the demeanor of the
video.
videos helps too. There's so many tool reviewers out there, and there's so many people who are giving hints. But just the positive, easygoing, kind of laughable vibe, I think it's good. I enjoy it. I mean, I there's tools that I don't have where it's just I'm just gonna watch the video. Maybe I'll buy it, but like it's fun
all day,
just for the smile, really.
Hey, just to go back a second, Chris, I'm glad I finally met the person who actually reads our owner's manuals.
I didn't say I read all of them.
Okay, good. Oh, God, I'm going to bring that back to Germany. I met him. Somebody says, you're always smiling. Why do you always smile on your videos? People who've known me for a while, I'm always smiling, man. I love life. And people will always say, hey, you got the world's greatest job. And I go, yes, I do. and I don't take it for granted one single second of a day. I love working for Festool. And you guys know our tools, right? Okay, you all own our tools. You all use our tools.
Mhm.
And I think you all think they're great. But I know something that's even better. And I say this every single day of my life. The people I work with and the company we all work for at Festool, it's just an amazing, amazing place.
Yeah, I got a small snippet of that when we were there. And it's, number one, I was surprised at how you guys are lean.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that's a massive building.
Thank you. I did lose
And
some
you
weight.
walk, and I was like, and
Thank you.
I remember
Nick,
walking
how flattering.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Bubba.
I literally thought you guys were closed. And I was like, is it a holiday or something? And you're like, no, everyone's working. And it was just, you guys were so, like, the operation was just so clean and lean.
Efficient.
Yeah, and when you walk through the warehouse, every single person in there is just like, hey, how's it going? Like, super happy. It was a very different environment than I expected.
Yeah, I think everybody knows this. We're privately owned. And we're very well taken care of. And when the family is over, whether it's Barbara Ostel or Gerda Meyerstohl, they always come out in the warehouse and they hold everybody's hand and ask us if they're happy. Are you happy working here? Because they want us to be happy working there. And I try in the Festool Sedge Instagram account. So many people have held the camera. It's my iPhone. And God, we have fun when we do it. You know, hey, everybody, why do you laugh at the beginning? Because I'm watching your foot tap, so I know you hit the button. You know? And some of the people that come in there, before they tap their foot, they say something that we shouldn't be saying on camera. So I want to, it's kind of fun. So I always tell everybody, hey, thanks. And I know Tyler came up to me and said, after about the fourth or fifth video, he said, you say, I hope this helps at the very end of every one. I go, I do. And I went back and I watched them. And I went, I guess I do. And he goes, that ought to be your tagline. I can't tell you how many people come up at a trade show and go, hey, I hope this helps. Even my wife says it. Just kidding.
I did it a few times in our rehearsals today. I did it.
Did
with
you
Jeff
really?
In your accent, yeah.
Did you?
I was sporting
have
the
an
main
accent?
accent a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't hear it.
One thing I wanted to add to that, this whole idea of when I first got to Tools of the Trade, I was lucky enough to be invited to Festool's headquarters out in Germany with a couple other. It was Concord Carpenter and a few other editors of different magazines, and we got to tour the plant and see that the people there, and there's a sculpture out in front
Yes.
of the
Sedge.
building that really.
No,
it's not
sculpture.
Sedge.
That was before you lost the weight, though.
Yeah, it was. It's huge.
It's probably going to sound hokey the way I'm describing it, but it's all these hands sort of intertwined with each other, and it sets the tone of sort of what the company's about there, and it struck me at the time because I didn't know what Festool was about. I'd worked in the trades for a long time, and I didn't really understand the tools and the legacy and the care and everything that went into designing and building them. I didn't really understand it at that time, but when I got there, I got to see the people who work there and the atmosphere and the culture there, and it was really like it was the same thing when I got to tour the Porsche plant at the same time. It's like people take such pride in working there, and it's like they're there for their careers, like
25,
they're very
30
long
years.
time. People have been there for a really long time.
Yes.
That really resonated with me.
Yep. Our most valuable thing, I think, at Festool is our employees. And they're my family outside of my family at home. And it's just fun because I like it when people smile. It's so daggone contagious.
I was just going to say contagious.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And it's just fun. That sculpture is a pretty famous sculpture over in Europe, the many hands working as one, and every TTS subsidiary has LLC here in the U.S. Has a sculpture. We have a mini sculpture of that inside our lobby in our building. We've always had it. It's something that's just we walk by it and we go, oh yeah, we're all working for a common goal.
How do you think that translates to your finished product? I know we went out to the Marvin headquarters, and the way that they treat their employees, and I guess the opportunities that they create for them, it's pretty obvious that that's directly translated into their final product. I feel obviously a less technical aspect there. Do you think that that does translate into what you guys are putting out on that end?
Yes, and some of those hands are you guys as professional tradesmen. When we develop a tool, it's a whole process. We can engineer something and say, hey, here you go. That doesn't work. Some other companies may do that. Okay, what we do is we engineer something, and it's a process. We go through it every time with every tool. Say a new tool's coming out, and we give it to you guys to use, and we bring it back in. And boy, do we grill you in finding out if it worked, what didn't work. Then we go back, and then we bring out what we call pre-production and let you guys use it for a while, just to see if there's any hiccups, and then we manufacture it. So in that aspect, you guys are involved in that process as customers. But let's go back to, Tyler, what you were saying about how does that happen in our end product. That's a tool, but I always consider the end product is also the process of everybody being happy inside the building. Let's just say Festool North America. Well, if something's going wrong, nobody's going to don't worry about it, I'm just an employee. No, we make sure people have a voice to say, hey, listen, I think we could do it better this way. I think we can, say, a packing process on one of our lines, UPS or LTL, and I think if we do it like this, and we have an idea box, and people become part of the process, and it's really cool. In repair department, same thing. Hey, I think we should do it like this. So we'll move a cell around to make it more efficient. So hopefully that answered the question.
No, yeah, I think it does. I guess my mind is going towards finished product being tool. Your answer makes more sense because I think that that's a very critical aspect and component of that my mind just isn't going there. But I think that you're right in saying that.
Okay.
I mean, you guys do a lot of R&D, and it's, I mean, in one way, like you guys have that hype, right? Like a new tool is coming out, and it's a secret, and like then there's this like waiting period, and it's like everyone wants to know, and I'm sure every show like what's coming from, what's coming out. Just tell me, I won't tell anyone. Yeah, and you have this. I know you rolled it out. Oh, this is my policy. I can't talk about it. I get it.
Yeah, but no, it was written out in paper.
No, it's all good. And for me, because they know I'm a blabbermouth, they don't tell me anything.
Right.
And that's why if I'm offered a beer, I don't even take it because I tell you everything.
I tried at dinner. I tried to get all the secrets at dinner, and I got nothing.
But it's not even because it's a secret. It's because they're bringing it to a level where they're doing the research and development.
We want to make it right.
Yeah. They don't want to send it out and then have a bunch of issues and then be either can it or have to go through a recall or whatever the case is. It's like,
yep.
I mean, you guys recently partnered with, correct me if I'm wrong, SawStop and Shaper.
Correct.
So obviously, and that was many months ago at this point. But obviously, you guys like didn't just partner with them for no reason. You guys are developing either their technology or their tools into your collection, and you'll put your spin on it. And do you want a beer?
So what was funny when all that happened with SawStop? I'll start with SawStop. It was kind of funny because when we released the press statement, we released it as TTS, Tool Technic Systems. That's our company.
That's like the mother company, right?
Yeah. And of course,
the
mothership.
Flagship brand under that's always been Festool. Okay, but what was funny is a lot of the editors of the magazines all went TTS, and then under big letters under that Festool, because that's what everybody knew us as. But with so many companies under that umbrella, it's not umbrella company. There's so many under the, as you guys call it, the mother company. And the first thing everybody said, "Oh, is the SawStop going to come out in blue and green?" No, It's we're just adding to theirs, and they're adding to ours. Like we can handle logistics into Europe, or we could share some technology, SawStop technology. Don't know. We don't know where it's going to go right now. We are creating a plan for that, but it's always going to be SawStop. Okay, it's just like we bought Shaper and the Origin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, boy, what technology that is.
Super cool.
It is super cool. We've been involved with them. We were building their router spindle on it, and of course the Tano sustainer. And everybody says, "Oh, are you gonna put the Shaper Origin in blue and green?" Absolutely not. They're doing great, and we're just gonna continue that and add some more structure in there for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as far as I have heard. Okay, I mean I don't know all the little points here and there on that, but
I think there's some leak stuff on the SawStop, but we don't have to get into it. I've seen some stuff on Instagram. But
is that a butterfly?
What's not a leak? I mean, it was on Festool's
Oh, was it on
international
Festool's?
site. Yeah, I
They
think I'm
leaked
pretty
it.
sure. Yeah, there was a video
But
of
I think,
a
like,
table saw.
to your
Is
to
that
your
a bright
point,
light?
it's not like the easy route would be let's just change it to blue and green and be done with it.
No.
But instead, it's like no, let's take some of SawStop's technology, put it into our tools, and then help them strive. And I could see Shaper doing the same thing. It's like Shaper will always be Shaper, but maybe we're going to pull that mapping software or mapping technology out of it and put it into one of our routers and, make it 10 times better. I don't, I'm speculating
You're
here, but
spitballing here
right. If you guys need me on the R&D team, let me know.
because you got lots of time.
I can do it on Wednesday nights. But I think that, to go back to the company, that's what my takeaway was, that there's way more to what the company is and what the tools are, and that's where the value is. And the fact you guys do such an incredible job, you personally having your own personal brand and promoting it, but even just the shows and JLC, and you guys do the road show, but you're not out there promoting product, you're out there teaching the product.
And even with the training classes over the years, it's, of course, I'm going to show everybody how to build something, whether it's cabinets or doors and drawers or building a farm table or what we have a classic.
A what?
Farm table.
I'm glad it came from you. I was like,
Okay.
what?
Farm table.
Or a or a bookcase. I like teaching woodworking.
You were a
Okay.
cabinet maker, weren't
Yeah,
you?
so did
Yeah.
I had to step out. We have some vomiting going on upstairs. But did I miss? How did you start? Where did you?
we didn't touch
we
upon
haven't even got into that.
Yeah, we didn't touch upon
Well,
it.
let's
That was-
touch
that
on
was my
that,
segue.
Sedge. What's your
Is your-
background?
Oh man, I grew up in Maine, and that's where that what some people think is a funny accent. I think everybody else has an accent,
I think the same thing.
and it's funny because when you're a kid, you're like, hey, you grow up a woodworker in Maine. I'm sorry, you grow up building stuff. I was building my own skateboards when I was 9,
Right.
and I was using all these tools and.
Can you still do a kickflip?
Yeah, I tried to do listen to this. I tried to do a 720 the other day.
What?
Dude, you got a bruise the size of your whole body. You sneezing, and you did a kickflip.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
can just
I
imagine.
tried, but I was doing a 720 spin.
Actually,
I
that's
used
where
to-
the bruise came
Yeah,
from.
right.
This. At 12, I built my own half pipe in my backyard, all out of wood and ply. And it's just you're born raised a Yankee.
Right.
And the Yankee.
So where'd all the tools come from?
Oh, my father.
Okay.
Yeah, and I lost most of them. And but my great grandfather and my grandfather on my mother's side were master carpenters. And when they found out I had my own cabinet shop and I was building again later on in life, okay.
What's later on? When did you open your cabinet shop?
Oh, let's think this out.
Because
I
this
always
was in
forget.
Florida, right?
Yeah, in Davie. I lived in Davie, Fort Lauderdale, right by the airport. I had a business partner, and the name of our company was Furniture PhD. And it started out kind of like part-time. We were in an industrial area, and my business partner, Mikey Zeisler, he came up to me one time, and I was just schlepping around. He said, "Hey, I'm kicking so and so out, and go want to come in and share it." And we're just going to share the shop space, about 1,800 square feet. Next thing I know, about a week went by. He goes, we got to start building together because you got some clients, I got some clients, and it just ended up. Next thing we know, we're doing built-ins. And I went full time first, and then he came on full time, and I was building and building and building. We're doing kitchens, building out office spaces and stuff like that. Anything that paid the overhead. And what's funny is, I don't know why I did this, but I was in buying lacquer thinner at Eddie's Marine store, Marine Industry Tool and Supply.
For a plug.
No, he's no longer in business. But this guy is a
Great
hot ticket, and he had a great deal on lacquer thinner.
Yeah.
And he showed me a Festool track, so and I walked away, and I said, I ain't gonna buy that, because I asked him how much, right? So I walked out, and I was thinking about it, and I was in the middle of a build, and the next thing you know, I said, oh my God, because he showed me how I could lay that track down there and cut a compound angle, and I was building this built-in settee for a family in Parkland, and there's a bunch of compound angle cuts. You ever done compound angles cuts on a piece of plywood on a table saw? It's for this side of the angle, it's a jig, and this side's an angle, it's a jig.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a jig 101 class for 2 days building this thing, and it didn't come together right. And Mikey looked at me, he goes, man, we charged an arm and a leg for this thing. It's got to be perfect. So I said, okay, let me time out. Tomorrow morning I'll go over to Eddie's and buy the saw, and I bought it. And I was floored because I recut the whole thing in 2.5 hours.
It's nuts.
I had all the guys coming over from all the cabinet shops, right, looking at this thing, and anywhere I laid that, I could cut a compound angle. So I ended up, Eddie said, hey, man, come on, can you just come work for me, stand behind the counter on Saturdays and Sundays? And I did. I worked in a marine store, plus I built all during the week. If I had a short week and I wasn't installing something, I'd go work another 4 or 5 hours for him. And that's where I met a guy named Jim Maynor, who was the rep for Festool. And he asked me to go do a marine tool up in Orlando. And boy, what they paid for me working in 1 day and all the food and gas, I was like, geez, this is a really good company to work for. I was like, man. So I started adding it. No, just joking. So that's kind of how, I was building full time down in Fort Lauderdale. And growing up doing it, I thought everybody knew how to do this stuff. My sister has this picture of me. It's so corny. I had hair then, and I was 7 years old, and I was using hand planes in my grandfather's shop in northern Maine. And you know how you say, hey, I lived a life with no regrets. There's only one regret I had. My grandfather was a Maine guide. He was a master carpenter, okay? And he built snowshoes. And he had his own style of building snowshoes. And I was scheduled to go up there to learn how to do that trade with him, and because he knew I loved woodworking. I still have cribbage boards I made with him, okay? And he got cancer and passed away, and I never went up there to spend that summer with Papa. And I was kind of bummed. That was one of my only regrets in life, because he was such a cool guy,
Wow.
It's really neat. But
That's a bummer.
yeah, my wife goes, hey, how'd you learn how to do that? I go, I know. Everybody knows how to build stuff. So when I got married, my wife and I were dirt poor. All our money went to the kids. And I just said, you know what? I'll just start building furniture for the house. So it was pretty cool. And it just happened.
Yeah.
I love building. So somebody says, hey, if you ever left Festool, what would you do? I'd go open up a shop in a heartbeat. God, I love doing it.
A heartbeat.
You guys know this. I mean, you're building a house
Would you consider working for NS Builders?
in a heartbeat.
Because he's thinking about it. I see his wheels turning over there. Look at him.
God, isn't it a
CPA, a Sedge.
the thing, and I tell this, and I teach this to everybody who's asking me, hey, what you had your own cabinet shop, right? I go, yeah, there's a lot of people who own cabinet shops. They go out of business every week because they think, the boss is making all the, the money. And this is in any trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they go and they open up their own cabinet shop, right? And they're out of business. You know why? Because they don't know about the business of business. There's a lot of guys out there, me included. At least I know a little bit about business. My business partner, Mikey, was really good at it. But you just love to build, and you get excited. This is in a few years. Oh, man, I didn't bid that right. Because you're excited somebody wants to buy something from you that you have a passion of doing. And that's the tough thing, is pricing your work, I think.
Yeah. Especially from a millwork side.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the
Or
guys...
furniture side, like, you don't get paid for the hours that go into that stuff.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I feel like furniture building,
There's so many furniture
one-off
stories.
pieces, it should just be a retirement hobby.
Yeah.
You're not getting, even if you're charging $5,000 for a piece of furniture, the amount of hours that go into that, you're making pennies.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I've been very blessed throughout the years by meeting the right people and teaching me things. And sometimes I think, well, why am I learning that? And then all of a sudden later in life it comes about, like pricing work. And you may not like what you're building because you're like, but boy, that customer just loves it. So this one guy told me, when you have a customer that, and this guy does nothing but commissioned work. He's brilliant. And he said, when you find that person, sit at the table and eat. Right? Because they're going to, and he put 2 kids through college. And he had to put up with a lot from that client. But, some of the stuff that he built for her, he didn't really like a lot. But boy, she paid the bills. And sometimes you got to, put up with, it may not be your taste, but it is somebody's.
Right.
So I like to tell people that, I always tell people woodworking. It's a long word. Wood is the short part. Working is even longer, right? Because it's a lot of work that you guys put in to what you do, for sure.
So you were working part-time at a marine store and mainly in this cabinet shop and obviously closed shop at some point. And is that when you reconnected with the sales guy over at the marine shop?
Yeah, no, I met him. I was building full-time, but he asked me to come in on the weekends. So I went to my business partner and said, hey, can I start working for Eddie?
Yeah.
And it's a good thing I did. Because I kind of, I was in a shop a lot of the times and not in front of people.
Yep.
And I with my personality, and Eddie saw this, and he says, come on, just stand here.
What personality would that be?
Yeah. And
I'm not following.
even he saw that in me. So it was really funny because a tool company usually doesn't hire people that are working at a dealer that they sell tools through. And a lot of people don't know that because they don't want to rock the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went and they asked me to come up for an interview, I said, yeah, okay, I will. And I did. I was on vacation. They flew me in. Festool did. And I met them. And that weekend, I didn't realize they were calling Eddie and asking if it was okay to, A, interview me. And 2, hey, we're going to make him an offer. And is it still okay? And this is what a great friend Eddie was. He goes, hell yeah, if you don't hire him, you're crazy. So I just been real lucky in life,
And that was it? Made you an offer, you took it?
I had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So the interview was kind of cool. They asked me what my favorite tool was. And I went to Lee Nielsen 4.5. That's a hand plane, right? And I went, oh, was I supposed to say a Festool tool? And one of the guys interviewed me. He said, no, tell me about that Lee Nielsen 4.5. And I went, I gushed for about 5 minutes. And he went, oh, I go, what are you writing down? He goes, I'm writing down, I need to go buy one. And then they asked me in the interview, hey, talk about the TSO. And I did that. And so, when you have nothing to lose because you're happy where you're at and you're doing an okay coin. They go, you have any questions for us? And I whipped out a tablet and I started asking a bunch of questions. So I had the kind of the couillons to ask. I go, hey, for this position, when are you going to make somebody an offer for this? So I kind of know. And they said, the big guy went, Monday morning. So I flew back to Richmond. They flew me back to Richmond that Friday afternoon. And then Monday morning, I got a phone call and said, hey, we'd like to get a fax number. We'd like to send you an offer letter.
When was this? How long have you been working for them?
12 years.
Back when faxes were used.
Just gonna say,
He just told us he's only 32.
Yeah.
It's not adding up.
Isn't that wild?
I think
That's cool.
It's you say that you've just been. I think a lot of people also oftentimes pawn where they are in their life. Like you said, I've just lucked out in life, but I don't always think that's the case. Whether it is your personality, your demeanor, or your work ethic, or putting yourself in the right position at the right time, I don't think it's necessarily luck. You wound up where you did because you made decisions and put yourself in that position. I mean, to pawn it off as luck is one thing, but I think it was a good fit for them, and they obviously knew what they were doing. And I think that, I mean, I know it's a different company, but even now with your Instagram presence and what you're doing for that company, if Festool had a face, it would be you. Like, that's what my mind goes to now. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Absolutely.
The personality.
Yeah. Like, I feel like when I
tough
think
for me.
Festool, and this is just North America.
Oh, you're not taking this comment very well. He's like, been smiles the whole time.
No.
Everything is like you're such a positive individual, and that company is so positive. And when you went up there on that Friday or Thursday, whatever it was, like they were like, yeah, it fits who we are. Like Tyler says, the ethos of what we do.
It's tough for me to take that compliment sometimes, and I'm not. It's because somebody will say that to me, like in the warehouse, and I'm going to say her name's Ashley, and she's the face of Festool.
Of course.
Russell is the face of Festool. Kiana is the face of Festool. Tyler is the face of Festool. So as you guys said, Tyler, as you said that, thank you, and I totally am flattered by that, and I hear that a lot. But boy, our company, the people inside our company are the face.
So
of Festool.
when I say that, I'm not saying that you make up that company, that everything that they stand for is you. It's just that company, prior to you coming around, it's just a business. You've basically humanized that company where now people can attach a personality and associate a personality or we don't see the people building the product. So yeah, they make the company and they make the product, but now there's somebody to go alongside of that company that we've used and been involved with for, now it's like, okay, I know who Festool is. There's a connection now that we never had that connection before.
Wow, if that's made a difference, then I feel, wow, thanks for saying that, because I represent a whole clan of people back there who are just so stoked to make tools for you guys.
But I also think your answer to Tyler's comment also speaks volumes about your personality and who you are and your character, because you can say you're blessed, but the way that you go across and the way you come across, it's put you in the right position in life to have these successes and these opportunities.
Yeah. Thanks. I waited for the camera to be off. Hey, I'm getting used to this stuff.
He's gonna go home to his wife, be like, "Hey, do you know what they said about me?"
He's gonna have a replay in his car.
She's like, well, I hope this helps.
I hope this helps. Life is about having fun, and this just doing this Festool Sedge thing. I mean, look what I'm hanging out here after a long day of work with you guys. This is fun.
You killed it today, man.
We're smiling, What time is it?
I have no idea.
I found out
9:12.
I found out that you have an early shoot tomorrow too, which I didn't know about.
And I'm lifting at 5:30 with Jeff, which is even more important.
I did not know that.
And it don't matter to me, man. What am I gonna do? Go back to the hotel room and sleep? What does my wife say? Hey, don't worry about it. He'll sleep when he's dead. I go, gee, thanks, honey.
If I could just add one more thing to what Tyler was talking about, and not to make you blush even more, but I think part of what people resonate with is just that you make the content and the tools so approachable. I mean, I know for me back in the day, they intimidated me. Festool was intimidating to me. And I think that your demeanor and the way you approach all of the teaching it, and you put a different spin on the company. It's a German company, and you add another element and dimension to it that is relatable to a lot of people in the trades, and your background in it, I think, rings true, and rings through everything you're doing, and you're able to talk to people, and you have the experience to back it up, so it makes it all work.
Thanks. I'm glad I could. No, thank you. My wife says you never take a compliment.
Yeah, have you always been so good at taking compliments?
I'm horrible at it. I'm horrible.
I don't know who's good at it.
My wife will always tell you he looks like Shrek. I go, gee, thanks, honey. If you could wiggle your ears, we could make millions. She even tried to name one of our dogs Fiona.
No.
Yeah, I go, give me a break. Now everybody's gonna say, look, he is Shrek.
It's gonna keep you level, I guess.
Oh yeah. Do you know what I named my dogs? I just got my third. They think I'm crazy over in Germany. I have golden doodles. And the first
they're
one,
great dogs.
Oh my God, they're
these dogs super hyper, but they're such good dogs.
These dogs are so great around kids, and our whole neighborhood was filled with kids. And you know what I named the first one? K-Pex.
No,
really? Yeah. And the second one, Guinness. Nice. Oh yeah, she's living up to her name, short and stout. And the third one we just got. She's 8 months. Her name is Dublin, because we've always wanted to go to Ireland. We're going to go in a couple of years. Awesome. And these dogs, man, they're just so much fun, for sure.
You've been to Germany, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm scheduled usually every year to go to Germany like 3 times. But in recent years, I haven't been. I've been about a dozen times, I think.
You're traveling a lot.
Yeah. It's okay. There was a few years where I didn't travel. There was a few in the beginning I traveled a lot.
Yeah.
And then I kind of chilled out for a while, got more into getting the end user program up going with Steve Bates, our trainer out in Las Vegas, to really maximize that. Mm-hmm. And I was home a lot. And then I just started recently in the last year and a half traveling a little bit more. And this year I got quite a bit of heavy travel schedule.
What's going on with them?
Well, I'm going to be donating at least, though, as it looks right now, a week a month, and I'm going to be out on our roadshow truck. I'm going to try to schedule that to work with some universities and trade schools, and also, maybe do some on-the-road training with that.
Does that mean you guys are doing the roadshow at schools rather than like a woodcraft?
We're going to try it and see how it works. I think it's going to be a great program that way there. And come on, let's get back to what we were talking about earlier. We got to bring more young people into our trades. I mean, we love working with this old house and Generation Next. I mean, that's the biggest talk. Even Mark Adams at Mark Adams School of Woodworking down in Whiteland, Indiana. The talk is, hey, we got to bring younger people back into the trades. Mm-hmm. Furniture building there and cabinetry, and you guys with home building, right?
Have you thought about working with the Modern Craftsman at all?
Yeah, I thought I was.
That crossed your mind.
I love Tyler.
I thought I was.
Well, I don't know. Maybe open the conversation. And just for what we stand for and everything else, right? Chris agrees too.
Absolutely.
You can't even see
him nodding. I can see him nodding. Actually, all I can see is Nick and John.
Yeah, it's even I watch a lot of TED Talks and Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs. That guy's brilliant.
Micro Works.
Yeah.
Okay, so a somewhat tough question. Other than you guys involving yourselves with these programs, your tools are a higher end tool. There's a point of entry and a buy-in with that system that's fairly expensive. Mm-hmm. Most younger guys who are looking to get into this realistically can't afford those type of tools. Mm-hmm. How is there like a plan to kind of bridge that, make something that's a little bit easier for people to get involved with? Is that ever been anything that's been a consideration? I think one thing, Steve, who works for me, had no experience prior to working with me, realistically speaking. And he's come in and he's used nicer tools from the get-go. I think that it makes everyone's job more enjoyable. It makes your job easier. Cleanup's easier. It's healthier. It's safer. If people were able to get into a system like this, and the upfront cost wasn't as expensive. I think it's another way and another enticement for people and younger kids to get involved with this. Has there ever been talk or any thought to that?
There's always been thought about teaching at schools with our tools, and over the years we've donated a lot of tools to a lot of schools. Yes, there's been talk of that, and I don't know where it's going at this moment, but you never know. When I first started working at Festool, there was questions that were posed to me, and I'd say, that'll never happen. And boy, have times changed. So,
yeah, and I know it's a tough question, but realistically,
question,
even you saying when you first
really good question. Yeah.
When you first went to go look at a track saw yourself prior to looking for Festool, and you spent 2 days fabricating jigs because you didn't think that the cost was worth it, and then you get your hands in it and it's worth it right away. But bridging that gap and getting the tools in the hands of these people for that initial experience to save, like I have a customer right now who as a hobby does woodworking, and he's looking to do miter folds right now on a table saw in a garage shop, and he's sending me pictures of failed miter folds, and I'm like, buy a track saw. That's all you have to do, but it's getting into that market that I think it would be huge for people.
Totally agree, and we are always it's the value proposition. And this is the name of our game. How do we teach people why our tools are sometimes 2 to 3 times more expensive than everybody else's? It's getting it in front of them. And one of the things we're doing is we're getting in front of all these young people to use the tools to understand them. But working out a program where they get in at a different cost, I don't know where that would lead. But we've always talked about stuff possibly with programs like that. I just don't know if it'll ever come to fruition. I just don't know.
Well, I think there's such a heavy emphasis on the fact, like the value it brings, where, you guys aren't, it's not a pushy sales pitch. It's use them, understand them, realize that this is going to save you time. And, the ultimate goal would be that, to Tyler, your point, it's like the ultimate goal would be that kid that, doesn't want to spend $200 on a sander and can buy one for $69, then realizes, or eventually realizes that $200 or that difference between the $130 difference is the difference between the time he has to spend cleaning up, the time he spends on extra sandpaper, the time it takes to fix the things that the sander's not doing, and, really proving the value. In the sense that, it would be cheaper for me to buy this $70 sander right now, but over the course of the next 12 months, that I'm actually going to save money and time.
Even as simple as we want kids to get involved with the trades. So you're going to bring somebody in and say you give them the job of sanding down stock for all day long. Go stand in this room, stand down stock. You hand them a $50 sander from a box store and have him sand with that all day versus set him up with a higher-end Festool sander with an extractor. What do you think is going to make him show up to work more than likely the next day versus saying, hey, I'm going to find a different job? Mm-hmm. And it's as simple as that, where it makes people's lives, jobs more enjoyable, healthier, safer. I think it's another segue into the industry, and I think the three of us are of the business mindset where we understand the value of higher priced things, and it's not just that it's a higher price. We're willing to foot that bill if it saves us times. For me, a lot of it's the warranty, where I know if it goes bad, it's just going to get fixed, no question asked. But it is tough for people to break into that system. I know when I was first looking into it, same reaction that you had, Sedge, where it's like, wow, that's going to cost me this much. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm never going to be able to invest in something like this. And then you bite the bullet and you do, and then you start exploring more options. And it's one of those things where you put your tool in somebody's hand, if you gave somebody a sander, they're going to invest in your whole system.
So let's go back to schools. And we often tell a story at Festool where we donated a lot of tools to a design school. And I was part of this where I went in one time. I go, "Oh, you guys got Festool here, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah, can you show us some things? Because I got a new group of designers coming through." And he pulled me aside. He goes, "So listen," he goes, "these people have been using or they're going to use Festool for 4 years. And what we have seen, because you guys gave us all these tools, is they usually go out and they go to the big box and maybe buy that sander that vibrates like heck and makes their hands go numb, right? And they always come back and go, hey, can we get a good deal on Festool? Or do you have an in with Festool? And we always have to tell them, well, you have to go out and spend the money. And you know what they do? They go out and they spend the money because they were so used to using that quality tool. So the other part of the things I do at Festool is I actually train our dealers on how to demonstrate the tools in the right light for a customer. And that's what the trainer did to Eddie because he made that compound angle cut for me. And he did it on long grain plywood. And when I did it on cross grain cutting, he didn't tell me it cut splinter free. But he had showed me that wherever I lay that track, it's going to cut on that line. So here I am going, I ain't going to spend that money. And I walked out, right? But boy, I had to jump through the hoops again. And then say, oh, man, you know, that's going to save me a lot of time. And then I went back. See, I had to justify it in my head. And that's what we always have to do. And that's what I see. So I teach dealers to do a demo like that. Or do a demo that kind of will show a true use application for the tool. And then some trades guys are going to go, okay, yeah, I'll take it. But majority of them are going to walk out. But you've kind of like shown them something that they can work with, and they're going to think about it when they start to jump through the hoops again.
It's something relatable.
Yeah.
I think when I bought my first track saw, it was because I was sick of cutting basement doors down on my houses. Mm-hmm. And the whole process of doing that whole thing that I was like, I can literally lay this track down with the extractor and do it in the house instead of taking the door off, taking it out to the outside, cutting it, cleaning up. I was just like, so to me, it was relatable that I was sick of doing the 10 steps.
Yes.
That I could make it one step. And I was like, I would pay anything. Like Tyler always says, it's like, when it's that thing, it's like, I could save a day.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, it's really tough at a younger age, Tyler, to understand what that means. Yep. And you have to do the duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you have to struggle some in order to justify that.
Yeah, sometimes you just look at things that it's going to save you a ton of time. Like my first hinge boring machine that I bought. The guy came in, and you know, you ever set up to drill 35 millimeter cup hinges on the drill press, right? It's like, what a drag.
Oh my God.
Okay.
It's horrible.
I know. So he came in and says, okay, you got to buy 250 sets of hinges, and we'll give you a good deal on this. There was no problem with that. I was going to buy those hinges anyhow.
Yeah.
And the first thing we did, because our whole shop, we had a killer dust extractor, we hooked up a dust extractor that night. See how much time that saved? You're right.
Like an immense amount.
When you know,
it's insane.
It saves you that time just in setup alone.
It's also more enjoyable. You're taking out the
I'm not being lazy.
No.
Like, it's just the fact that it was like, this is a nuisance.
Right.
After the carpet goes in, that I'm like, it happens every time. And if I do the quick math, I don't have to be a genius. That if I'm going to build, there's going to X amount of houses a year, and there's going to be X amount of doors in the basement. It was very, very simple for me to be like, done. And then the fact that you have them, it almost gives you a prestige. That's the way I looked at it, to be honest with you, is that I've now gotten to a point where, I'm there. Yeah. I can afford this. I'm able to execute because I'm able to use these tools. And that gave me kind of a internal bragging right, meaning that, you know what, hey, you're doing good. You've been in the industry. You're doing this. You're not just going to, I remember my first tool, which I still drive by all the time when I'm at home, is the Grossman Bargain Outlet. I used to go there and buy my tools, which was like orange. I don't even know what it was. And it was just, you were buying stuff that was...
Grossman?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that name in forever.
The one I went to still exists.
Get out.
They don't have a lot.
I thought they went out of business.
Dude, they're still there.
They are.
The one on Route 1 in Walpole is still there. I went to dinner next door to it this weekend with my mom.
And I always remember it was always Grossman.
Yeah.
But if you're in Maine, Okay, and you're French. Let's go to Grossman's. And I'd always look at that and go, there's no S on there.
Then they changed it to like the bargain outlet,
Oh, no kidding.
and then that's where I used to always go, and I'd pick up.
It's near Walmart, right?
Yeah, Walmart's down where the old hockey
Yeah.
rink was. The rink used to be down there.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
We almost went
I haven't
all the way
heard-
through without talking about hockey.
Oh, man.
Grab a drink.
Never gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen.
I did a training up in.
No mercy.
We have a dealer up in Canada, and they came in for their first training. You know how you say something, you crack a joke, you go, oh, and there's that pause before everybody laughs. So I said something like, it's kind of like playing hockey. Oh, I was talking about, we were talking about no swirl marks,
Yeah.
and I go, it kind of floats the sand, and when you turn the suction all the way down, it's kind of like, like air hockey. And oh, you guys from Canada, you guys know anything about hockey? There was a pause, and I go, we kicked your butt in the Olympics, didn't we? And I went, oh, yeah, okay. And they go, that was like a kind of a borderline joke there, big guy.
Not in Canada.
Oh, my God. It's like, what's that? Hockey night is there?
That's their thing.
That's their thing, man. God.
Oh yeah, you don't mess around with that stuff with the Canadians.
Wow, never.
Nope.
I never cracked a Canadian joke like that before.
Like-
The only thing I did is
again.
when we
Lesson
came out with the
learned.
Contoro, we have those pucks, and we have the ones that are black, and I go, hey, this is really big in Canada nowadays.
Lesson learned.
Cool.
This was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I think, what was it, JLC last year? I tried to, we were like, let's go get Sedge.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, we want you on the podcast. He's like, hey, I'm working.
I'm gonna tell
And
you.
I was like, all right, fair enough, bye.
They always, the guys always give me the new stuff to show people.
Yeah.
And I just dig it. And when I can have those people all around, and I was showing the domino connectors. We had just come out with them for the 500, because the year before, when I was doing the 700 connectors, they're like, oh, when's it coming out? That doesn't do 3/4. You must be coming out with the ones for the 500. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of heard we might. And so everybody who goes to JLC, it's the same gang. It's so
Right.
cool. And they're like, you finally came out with them. And, man, I was covered up. And that's the way I like to be. I love teaching people about stuff. And I look at the clock, and it's gone.
Yeah.
We open up the day, and I'm 100 miles an hour. And I love that. Because people are there and
It's-
they're
dude.
focused on Festool.
Trade show life, that's just,
But dude, JLC Northeast
it's insane.
is a great show. I'm not
Yeah.
being biased. 'Cause
No. And
it's a killer show.
And I'm going to tell you right now, that's the best trade show in all of North America.
Right.
And I've been saying that
Yep.
for the 12 years I've been there.
Absolutely.
It
Yep.
really is, because it's a ton of tradesmen there, almost
It's a
all.
I've been to other
everybody's-
ones. It's a different atmosphere.
It grow.
And it's
and-
teaching.
Yeah.
The guys are all teaching.
Yeah, all those guys are amazing.
Oh, Myron's awesome,
Myron,
man.
Mike
Wasn't it
are-
last
Myron
year
and
that
Jed?
I think last year they had to stop selling tickets because there was too many people in there.
They shut down the
Oh,
escalator.
did they?
Even-
Oh, yeah,
it
I remember
should- even-
that. That's right,
Nick
that's
took
right.
credit for that.
He did.
Even during the
It's-
recession, we were covered up at every station, 30, 40 people at each station.
It's the only trade show I go to where the aisles that are still 12 feet wide, you have to kind of wiggle through.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I've been going there my entire life,
Yeah.
and it has ups and downs,
Yeah.
but it's always consistently. Like I remember when Kiefer was like, what trade show do you really recommend? I was like, I know I'm saying it out of line, but dude, JLC Northeast. I remember when I told Wes from Arch Kings.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You were
this
nervous
is-
about that
This is
one.
5 years ago, and he DMs me. We're DMing back and forth. They go, "Hey, you going to JLC Northeast?" He goes, "Why?" I go, "It's the best show in the country." And this is just a carpenter kid. I think I had like 500 followers back then, and he's just like, he texts me back like a couple days later. He goes, "Yeah, I bought a booth. I'm driving up from Texas." I was like, "Oh my god."
He
What
bought
I-
a booth?
Yeah. I'm like, "Oh my god, what did I just do?" And I was just like so nervous. And I remember I went there and met him, and I gave him like a sweatshirt. And then I was still nervous, and I was like, I texted him afterwards, and I go, "Hey, how'd it go?" And he goes, "We sold everything. We sold the entire booth out."
Yeah.
And he goes, "It actually gave us a presence in the Northeast." So they were a Texas company, and he goes, "It gave us like kind of a jumping off point in the Northeast." And I was like, "Oh, so it went well." Like I was just like, I know what I know. Like I hadn't been. Now I've been to other JLCs, and like and I've been to IBS, and it's like This show is a smaller, condensed version of that without like the K-Biz part. I mean, I'd love to see the JLC be more K-Biz up here as well to bring in designers, because I think there's we've talked about this, a huge networking opportunity from what we see from that event.
Yeah, the JLC's also it's quality vendors, and it's not an overwhelming amount of junk, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, everything that's there, you can find value. It's all good stuff. It's not, and I think that everyone who's there, you know, they show up, even the vendors and everything else, they show up ready to help.
Oh yeah.
It's a good mix of
IBS
tools.
is just like it's so much, and it's so overwhelming, and you can't digest all that.
No, but I even think I don't even do the classes at JLC. That's a whole other animal.
Oh boy.
But it's like to go there, and it's a perfect mix of products, meaning like builder products and tools that you get a fix. Meaning I'm not still a carpenter, but man, I still enjoy buying tools. So you kind of walk around, and you're like, oh, I can buy a replacement handle for my stiletto. I can kind of, you know, still spend a little bit of money, and you get to talk to the people that are there, and it's usually like it's beyond just a sales guy. Like the fact that you're going to those, it's like you get that little celebrity, and you can meet VPs, and you can meet people that stand behind the product, not just sell it, and that you get to have a voice in a way, and that's what's cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's really neat. It's funny who comes and hangs out at the booth with us. We're always demonstrating, but you never know if you're talking to like a VP of marketing or a CEO from Festool, and it's a good feel. I'll say it again. I just love, if I have a break every once in a while, I'll wander over and listen to Mike Slogat. He's guy amazing. Is a genius.
He is a genius, and he's a great guy. What
a giver.
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
will just part with that information. I asked him a question once while I was doing a training up in Lebanon, and I saw Myron kind of go like this, and it was a simple question: how do you frame a hood over a stove? And he went on and on and on. I was told, he just whipped out his, Construction Master 5 and just went on and on. I was like, an hour went by and I was so enthralled just learning from him. He made me understand all of that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow. And you know what it turned into? He did a demonstration at JLC on it. It was really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought it was kind of cool. He did a presentation for us at Festool because we had a Connect event back then in front of JLC. It was wicked.
That's awesome.
I loved it, man. He's such a good dude.
That whole group of guys is great, and I feel like it's the original guys in the industry that just it's not for a paycheck. They want to teach, they want to kind of share that knowledge, and they want to give back to everyone, which I think, it's the same type of thing that we're doing. They're just on a different platform than we are. But I feel like it's the same thing that we're kind of all about and trying to put our names out there doing. And it's nice to see those guys still doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
They're still relevant. It's crazy.
Yeah, they have so much knowledge and so much experience in sharing it and teaching all that stuff, and they are super generous. I mean, they've been always quick to say yes to stuff when I was working with JLC and Tools of the Trade back in a few years ago, trying to get some of these things going, and there wasn't a budget to pay them. They just wanted to share their knowledge and promote make sure things kept moving forward for everybody. So yeah, they're awesome guys.
Yeah, it's when we sat down even with Mike Gerton, I guess a lot of it is for myself is questioning the why. Why are you doing this? Why did you do this? I know we all have our reasons for doing so, and it just seems to be it's the same exact reasons why we do it, why we're kind of pushing forward, why we deal with all the BS and everything else. It's just that their platform was different. It wasn't as immediate, but they still got a lot of exposure from it. They still got recognition, and they were still at that point involved with people who kind of brought them up and put them on the same playing field. And I don't think it's any different today. I think the reasons behind it are all the same. It's just that we have a platform that's basically it's based on immediacy, and the present, and they kind of had to plan for all of everything that they put out. But it's nice, like I said, it's nice to see those guys, and they're still like Mike Gerton. He's on Instagram, and he's still putting out content. And like sometimes it's him in a shower with a tool belt on, but like, or putting a vice grip on his. But like that's just him. You know, he's just sitting there thinking, you know, I could put a vice grip on my handlebars, of my bicycle, and that's going to help somebody out. And I think that's kind of the basis for what we all do.
Cool.
Except for Sedge, he makes a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. Too cool.
That's what you said. That they feed you. They feed you well.
Oh, that's for sure.
You moved out of sunny Florida, where you had a thriving cabinet business.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? It was probably the best decision I ever made in my life. Yeah.
Except for when you go to work for Nick.
Well, you know, we can always negotiate. It was cool because when I got the offer letter, of course you never say, yeah.
Do I need to fax it, or can I just email it?
Oh,
Can I
you can do it.
DM
Do
it
it.
to you?
fax
Dude,
machine?
I'm
Do you
on,
even know what
as
that
those
is?
old guys say, I'm on the internets now.
I'll just DM you.
When I woke up the next morning, on Tuesday morning, I walked down, and my wife was sitting in my office in the townhome, and she was crying. I go, you okay, babe? She was reading my offer letter. She goes, wow. She goes, we're only going to work, you're only going to work one job now. I went, yeah. She goes, this is like a dream, huh? And I go, yeah. Isn't that cool? I mean,
Really
somebody
cool.
asked me what motivates me, and it's my wife. I love to show off for her. She was watching the Pro to Pro, and the first thing I did is turn on my phone afterwards, and she said, "You're awesome." You know,
That's
my
awesome.
grandson texts me, my kids text me, and you know what? That's what motivates me, man. It's my
That's awesome.
family.
It's a
My
special
wife.
feeling.
It is.
Yep.
You know, it's too cool. Yeah, she makes the big bucks. My wife. That's why I make 50 cents an hour here. Festool. Jesus, it's been a long day. I'm just kidding.
I'm still trying to impress my wife. It was like 2,500 followers, and I was like, babe, I'm kind of a big deal. And then she pulls somebody out from like college. You're like, you know, so and so's got 5,000. I'm like, all right, I'll keep pushing. You know, like, and so then every time I get like a good number of followers, I'll be like, hey, babe, you know, I got 20,000 followers. She's like, you know, my coworker's wife has 40,000. I'm like, dude, what am I gonna do here?
What's going on?
I'm like, yeah,
I'm trying, man.
we got a successful podcast. I'm kind of a big deal. She's like, no, it's just
It's like, you
kinda-
heard of Joe Rogan?
Sedge, you have kids, Sedge?
Yeah, when I got married 26 years ago, I inherited 2 stepchildren. I was telling Chris at dinner, I get really lucky. Jennifer was 15 and Frankie was 12 and a half. And
Both girls.
no, Frankie is my son. And,
Sorry, my neighbor's kid's name is Frankie, and
Oh.
it's a girl, so
No.
that's where my head went.
No worries. And Jennifer, I have a grandson that I helped for the first few years in my home, Danny. We raised him as a village or a family, and he's 24 now.
It's crazy.
Wow.
And he is. By the way, he's been working in my shop.
That's awesome.
For a long time, and he used to sweep up for 50 cents. And he was,
That's like $50.
I think he was 6.
Marley's
And
gonna be
then,
like, nah, 100.
Jennifer would drop him off, and he goes, "Thanks, Papa," and I give him some money, and she goes, "What's that for?" And he walked away. The next week, he walks in and says, "Hey, Papa, can we talk about some money?" And I went, "What's going on?" He goes, and I looked out at the car, and there she was, the union mob leader. She found out that I was paying him only 50 cents an hour. Jokingly, but you know what? He's always, when he comes up to see us in Indiana, he goes, "What are we building, Papa?"
That's awesome.
You know, so it's a good feeling. And my son, Frankie, I have a 4-year-old grandson. His name's Gray. So it's kind of cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm missing it, though. You know, we don't get down to Florida enough. It's usually once a year we're renting a big house somewhere and all getting together. But I do want to get down there more often to see him because he is a pistol. For
Sounds
sure.
like you guys got to get a dealer opened up down in Florida. They got to send you down to train.
Yeah, I'm working on that one too. I think
Let's reopen the marine shop.
Oh man.
Get some lacquer going.
Well, I'll be working for Nick, and maybe he can cut me some slack.
Hey, we're supposed to do
He's
a
got a
project down
vacation
there.
policy. You can take as much time as you want.
Hey, you're gonna be a year in for that.
There's no holiday or vacation policies.
No, we're just flex time. Whatever.
Flex
So you're gonna
time.
be
Flexible.
You're gonna be at IBS or no? They sending you out there, Sedge?
Don't know. It's kind of up in the air right now.
You a tight lip with everything.
Yeah, baby.
God, you don't let any secrets slip out.
Chris and I were discussing this at dinner.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah.
You work for the government or Festool?
Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? It's not that I'm tight-lipped. I'm trying to go out there because I want to work with some of the guys at this old house. And
But you guys don't do a booth out there.
no, we did 1 year, and that was, my God, I think that was 8 years ago. We just tested it, and we got moderate traffic, and we just didn't realize if it was our show. So we always talk about, hey, should we go back out there? Should we go? Because we've had more building tools come up, more construction instead of like cabinet stuff. And furniture building stuff. So there's always talk about it. This year we don't have a booth.
It's a tough show for tool companies in general. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like JLC is so like boots on the ground,
Yeah.
where IBS is almost like there's a fair amount of boots on the ground, but there's also a lot of like it's the upper level guys, the
Right.
management guys that are down there.
But you can be there for 3 days and still miss an
Oh
entire
my
section
God.
of the facility.
Yeah.
Like it is, like Tyler said, completely
ridiculous.
overwhelming.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
No, dig it.
We took a few years off from IWF and AWFS, and because of the recession, and coming out of it, and then we came out with the Contoro, the Edge Bander, and boy, that's our market. And the cabinet industry has always been a big market segment for us. And we went there in a Contoro, and boy, I'll never forget that. That was being covered up, and that was at AWFS. That's how it rotates every other year. And man, that was unbelievable. People were there to see the Contoro. They had 5-6 big edge banders, but the way it does the radius inside, outside, and inside corners. And
I bought a Contoro the day I left.
no kidding.
Yeah, because I was like, prove to me that this is worth it. And you're like, and he was like, all right.
God,
I'm like, all right.
I love that tool. Somebody says, hey, you did in Florida, our shop, we did nothing but frameless cabinets.
Yeah.
Because there's no face frame cabinet shops in Fort Lauderdale.
Did you have a big edge bander?
I was getting ready to buy one.
What were you gonna buy?
A Brandt.
Brandt?
Yeah.
I'm looking at a Holzer.
Yeah,
Just
nice.
a cartridge and no glue pot.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
They get the logs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick's got a crazy budget.
Yeah,
then
man. The thing is,
I'm looking at him, bro.
people ask me all the time, if somebody came into your shop with the Contoro, would you have bought it? And I go, they wouldn't have left. They wouldn't have left with it. People don't understand edge banding. Now in Fort Lauderdale, I could not do hot air or pre-glue or any of that iron-on stuff. Okay, we had a 16-foot wall, which was a spray area for contact cement. Okay, we'd go and we had a way of stacking all our sides, tops and bottoms, spraying all of those.
What?
Oh yeah, the front, because contact cement doesn't peel off. And then we would take it and we would stack up our edge banding, we'd spray, and it would be face here, and we just go bam on our wall with all our edge banding, and then spray it. We show what I was trying to tell you is we would spray a tack on there so it would adhere to it, and we'd go and we'd peel off the edge banding, roll it up, lay it down, burnish it in, snip it, and I used to file.
Yeah.
Okay, and I lived on a file, and I show people how to file, and they go, you remember that? And Paul from Tool Pig, he went, do that again. And we shot a video during the training because I showed him how to use the edge of the file.
Ken in my shop, we have all the trimmers and everything. He uses the side of his chisel on every piece of edge banding.
Yeah, I know. I used to see a guy from Czech Republic. He was 2 rows over from us in our industrial park. He had this Lee Nielsen really thick plane blade that was wicked sharp, and he would take that, he'd put it on there and go, trim the banding like that. It was freakish how he trimmed it with
Yeah.
that plane chisel. Yeah, there's all kinds of ways.
Everyone has their way.
Yeah. I love showing people how to do it with a file because it's so easy.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it is because our trimmer, I got right away, our MFK 700, because everybody goes, why a 1.5 degree base? Because it presents the cutter to the edge banding just like you do a file like this. So you're just using that wire edge and you're not hitting this top. You're just trimming the banding.
We could never get that thing to work, right?
Man, I got to come work for you.
You should
telling you. I'll do it for a couple
needs the
hours, set up
training.
all your
He
tools.
That was
Dude.
a cookie. You
I'll do it
just
once a
threw
month.
that
What
to
are you
you.
doing tomorrow afternoon?
Okay, I go, hey, the only thing I'm doing is getting ready for my flight home.
All right. Well, swing by.
Change it to Logan.
Oh, man. God, tomorrow morning's going to be fun with the Plane X. We're doing a tool school. We do a series of these, and today I was really cool with Anna. We're doing a marine segment with cordless, and tomorrow I'm doing Plane X and CT 36AC. Next week...
Wait, what were you guys using?
Yeah, you went
on?
really quick through that.
I'm sorry.
The cordless what?
I'm sorry. We did...
Because you were on his boat, right?
Yeah, we're on his boat, and we shot it where I'm doing we do a couple cuts with the track saw in his shop, the TSC, the cordless. Then we take the battery, put it in the T18, and drill out some of the nav panel with that, with a hole saw and some access holes and then we go to the Carvex, same battery.
Mm-hmm.
We do that, and then I go and I talk about the ETS EC with the Ergo batteries, but they all work on the same charger. We kind of put that all together. And then tomorrow morning, the tool school is with Morrow, the painter from this old house.
Yep.
And I just met him by phone. I'm looking forward to hanging out with him. I'm going to go through the Plane X the CT36 AC.
Dude, how about the painter we met today on Jeff's site? How many? He's 2 guys.
Yeah.
How many?
2 guys painting a 6,000 square foot house.
Yeah.
By themselves. I'm like,
Guess what he had in like every room?
What?
Festool.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. He's like, it changed my entire business. Now 2 of us do it.
Yeah, baby.
I'm like, dude, like, that's just it's wild to
They
me.
spray everything.
Yeah.
All the trim, but not the walls.
Like
They
the
don't spray the
sanding though,
walls.
he makes like all these. If it's a different profile, what they say, he sands down foam and makes his own profiles.
Yep.
For
Oh,
the
that's
sanders.
for. Oh yeah. Which sander is that?
That's
you guys
the
have?
LS 130.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a linear
that's right. I
sander.
saw that for the first time at the
Yeah.
Festool Connect. That thing's pretty slick.
Yeah, there's a lot of times I look at things that people are doing with the tools, and I go, man, I can't do that in 60 seconds. So,
YouTube.
yeah, and IGTV,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that's what some of the
Or
stuff.
highlighted stories too.
That's what I'm going to be doing on Sedge TV. I open up a second Instagram account, and I'm going to do some of that in my shop at home.
That's so Sedge TV is your second.
Yeah, it's kind of a more of a personal, but I'm also posting the
Yeah.
ones I shoot on Festool Sedge.
Cool.
Yeah, because I have friends at Festool that actually call it Sedge TV. So I said, hey, I kind of like the ring of that. And, I may be able to do some other things other than that. I want to keep it Festool. But, other people say, hey, because I used to teach sharpening and stuff like that. And so I says, hey, can you show me some sharpening techniques? I don't know if I want to get too much into that or whatever, how to put a burr on a carbide scraper.
Mm.
Or, I put it on a card scraper. I use a carbide burnisher, and
Yep.
I can do card scrapers wicked quick. So, I used to teach at the South Florida Woodworkers Guild every once in a while. It was kind of fun. And sometimes I get certain things because I'm lazy. And I
You're
and I
super
got
lazy.
and I got in woodworking, and I got super ways that I do stuff, and I'm like, hey, this works for me. And somebody says, well, that's kind of a cool tip. Can you show me how to do that? And I do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
So Festool Sedge and Sedge TV are your 2 handles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna follow it now.
Oh, man. Hey, I got another one. Now I got 2 on Sedge TV.
Now they're gonna start racing each other.
So I opened up
3.
the account, and I didn't do anything. And next thing I know, before I started posting on it, I looked, I had 40 followers. I was like, wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
Dude, I just got you to 90.
God, that's weird.
I just got him to 90.
No, you didn't. Oh, no, you got him 91. You're after me, brother.
Oh.
Hey, I'm getting followers. Yeah, it's kind of cool how it all evolved.
It's super cool.
It's
man.
amazing.
And I think the fact that you're taking the time to educate on your time, on like, it's, I mean, it really is your time and your dime. Like, obviously working for Festool, like, they're supporting it, but
It's still time away from your family.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing it with a smile on your face, and that the happiness is super contagious. And that is, to way back to Tyler's point, like, you're not lucky. You've genuinely worked hard at making sure that you've come across and with a certain personality.
I mean, beyond the smile, just the energy. I don't know if you can sense it here. It just
It's late. Yeah,
it is.
It's probably not coming out as well, but
Or John's
fair.
recent
I
post,
think
you're
it's a-
liked and valued.
Yeah, man.
Sedge,
thanks.
serious question for you.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
You can't take a compliment, but you follow yourself from your own account.
I can't. Did I really?
Yeah, Sedge TV follows Festool Sedge.
Oh yeah, because I wanted to see if it was working. Guys, I seriously don't know what I'm doing. It's like one time, Tyler, I was looking at to see how many views I had just scrolling through Instagram. And I started to like it. I go, no, that's creepy. Me liking that. Festool Sedge liking Festool Sedge video. I go, no, I don't do that. But I was like, is that creepy to do that?
So funny.
Oh, man. It's too cool.
I feel like I don't use Instagram to its full capacity. There's so much stuff on there I don't know how to do.
You know,
Like, I don't know, and I don't even know how to close off IGTV when I accidentally open
Oh, I
it.
hate that.
I do too.
I feel like it takes like 3
Tyler's
times.
like, I'm 4 hours into IGTV. What do I do?
yeah.
I feel like it tricks me when I want to hit like something else, and I find myself on IGTV, and I'm like, get out of here.
I just learned the other day. I posted my first story, like long
Continuous.
story, and I didn't know about the feature, the hands-free feature. So I posted it, and then I saved it as a video. Then I tried to I had to
Spend an hour and a half
yeah,
editing.
exactly, and I did a horrible job. And then I was at a shoot with Kevin O'Connor, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, let me show you how to do that." And it was like, "Oh my god, I can't even believe how easy that was." It was incredible. He did tell me to make me feel better that it's a feature that just came
Like a month ago?
started right.
Yeah.
That made me feel better. I
Yeah.
definitely was in the month window, but
You know what's also fun about Instagram is some of these guys out there that are just off the hook. I learned from you guys when you were in Greaseball, 1987. That guy.
He was like nobody back then, and he blew up.
My God, is he just funny, and he's true to form. And the other one I know you guys probably follow us. OSHA, is this okay?
Yeah.
God, man, it's like watching a train wreck in it.
Oh my god.
Can't look
It's like,
away.
oh no, oh my God.
I love when he posts something graphic, and it's like, it's the caption under the graphic photo is like, "Caution, this is graphic." It's like, no, I just saw the hand.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks for the heads up.
Oh
bud.
my God, I know. The guy hanging on rebar.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that ain't
God.
fun.
who's the guy that mimics Larry Hahn? Do you guys know him?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Jay has.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's the other thing, like getting back
The
to what
pit
Tyler
viper.
was talking about, and just everything that's happening in the community, and how those guys, like, he's paying homage to him, but in a fun way. You
Right.
know, it's like totally, like, at first when I saw it, I thought he was being sarcastic and mocking him, being like kind of
No,
goofy.
he-
But then
Yeah.
then I started reading his comments, and I was like, oh my God, he's like totally
Watch us
paying
swing
homage
a
to him.
hammer once.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I
you'll
saw-
be
I
like,
saw
you know what?
this.
Forget it. I get it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're real.
yeah.
Jeff, who is his boss, he was on our podcast
Oh,
2
that's the
episodes ago,
connection. Yeah, I was
and
just-
he talks about him and how he would go home and obsessively watch his
Yeah.
videos
No way. That's
because he was
awesome.
like, I need to be him.
That's awesome.
So you know that account we were talking about downstairs. I was telling you I did that thing with Rubio, and I met Jason, and he has one called his account. His handle's Bourbon Moth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And I think this is kind of flattery. He did a mock-up of I hope this helps. He did a tip on it, and he tried to nail my accent. He put on a latex bald cap. And he was walking around like this, pumped, and he goes, I hope. I hope. It's just, kind of like a dork like I am. And I was sitting down in my office watching this and laughing. And I went, wow, I guess that's kind of cool. People are mocking me in a nice way. And he DM'd me afterwards and said, cool. And I went, way cool, dude.
Awesome.
You made me laugh. And that's the name of the game, isn't
That's
it? It's kind of, I thought it was flattery. I just thought it was
The
funny
kid
as
who
heck.
works for me, said he was going to be you for Halloween, but he couldn't get a good Festool shirt.
Oh, man. That's
I was like,
no
that is
way.
no excuse.
You see it? Yeah, he's funny.
What do you do? I'm going to show you a trick they showed me when I first started here, okay? Now, this is coming close. Take a 50-millimeter domino and you stick it in your piece of wood, just like that. Then you're going to take your domino joiner with the 8-millimeter bit in there. You're going to set it on there just like that.
This guy's
Now
funny.
you plunge. Now what you're doing is you're plunging out a hole right in the end of it. So what you can do is you can take an 8-millimeter domino, insert it into the end of that 12-millimeter domino, just like that. You got another 50 you already did. You hook that onto the end with the 8-millimeter domino in the center, and you got yourself a 100-millimeter domino. I hope this helped.
And he is such a hoot in person.
Why does he have
and a killer.
Did he have a beard on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
oh,
had a beard.
Yeah, but he had it. Tried to white it out because he has
Yeah.
a beard in real
Oh.
life. Okay, and that's what I didn't get at first, and I lost it. I was like, but I had so much fun with him down in Austin.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's a really good craftsman. Yeah. So.
Well, you get to get up early.
Yeah. What time is it?
10.
10.
We rocked and rolled on this, man.
You really lifting in the morning, Sedge?
Yeah. I don't.
What do you bench?
I tried lifting weights
Contoros.
once. I did it for about 10 minutes, and they just got a little too heavy.
And then you wound up on the floor of the bathroom
No, no,
with the
when
bruise across your entire...
Right now, I'm benching 315.
Attaboy.
I'm squatting. I'm not maxing out right now. I was going to around Christmas, but I had that hemorrhage. And it wasn't because of lifting. It was because of the coughing fits. But it's funny because this is the strongest I've been since I was 22. And I haven't maxed and I haven't pushed pulling, deadlifting right now. But I'm doing really well on that just because I'm just doing a lot of reps right now with deadlifts. But I'm box squatting 365. 350. I'm box squatting 315 for reps of 12. So I want to hit. Hopefully now I can go again and start lifting heavy again. Probably I want to do a 1200. I think I'd do a 1200 max 3 lift by the end of this year. You always have to set goals, man.
Yeah.
So you're going to have Festool Sedge, Sedge TV, and Fitness Sedge?
No. I just, you know what? It's waking up in the morning.
I would buy a workout tape with you.
This is the first time in my life I've actually had a gym in my basement, and as I got a really cool wife, and she says, "Dude, that's what you do. Go buy what you want." So I got a lot of Elite Fitness and Rogue. I got a full Rogue power rack down in the basement.
It's a nice setup.
And I just love lifting, and I've been doing it my whole life. You know, and I'm really getting back into it, and I haven't been this strong in a long time.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That's awesome. It's healthy.
Yeah. And when Jeff says, "Hey, man, you want to lift?" I go, "Hell yeah."
He's an animal.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, he is. He's a good dude. We keep saying that, but he is.
He is.
Yeah.
This whole day is
Him.
sponsored by him.
Wow, what a day.
And thanks to Chris. Pro to Pro.
Yeah, man.
How's that spelled? Is it Pro 2
Yeah.
number or is it
Pro,
TWO?
yeah. Pro number 2.
Yeah.
So the fourth mic on here is Chris from Pro to Pro, Pro 2 Pro,
Pro 2.
on
Pro.
Instagram.
Pro
It's
to
a
Pro
ni-
TOH.
Oh, TOH.
Oh, I'm sorry,
What's the
TOH.
TOH stand for?
This old house.
That's pretty impressive.
Man, that ain't right.
No, this is a new venture for them, and I think today was episode 5-ish.
I think 4 or 5. Yeah.
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 So they're doing live streams, and this stuff lives after
yeah,
that, right?
It does.
Yes.
It does. Yeah, it's going to live on.
So it's really going to
YouTube.
kind of help promote what some of the other pros are doing to help, again, other pros and
Yeah.
that are there for to receive the content.
Yeah, and we'll be doing some other things too, not just these live streams, but we'll be doing building out. We got a community pages coming up on our site. And,
Podcast sponsorships.
Yeah.
We'll talk
Sorry,
about all
did I
that
say
other
that
stuff.
out
But,
loud?
Wow.
That was
Yeah,
inside voice? No?
There's
Wow.
There's a lot coming.
No, that still goes for you. This isn't a one person thing.
He's talking to you.
Who's he talking to, man? He's talking to me?
He's talking to everybody. Festool,
Yeah.
this old house, all the above.
No,
Sweener
so-
can sponsor it too.
So no, big thanks to Jeff Sweener,
Yeah,
Chris
huge.
Pro, Sedge, Festool.
For sure.
It's good.
It's a good day.
Puffin.
Guys.
Puff.
Puff.
Just so everyone knows, his last name is not Puffin because I keep getting messages about
I
that.
actually think it is.
The first
You should
question I
DM
asked
him, ask him if it is.
DD. Doug Duvall.
He has a great smile on his face right now.
He does.
What's that finger
He's keeping
mean?
us together. He's
Yeah.
and he's holding us to the schedule.
Yeah. Hey, we got one in the library now, so back off.
Boom. What do
Hey.
you mean? You're the one like, no, we need to do 3 tonight.
You just yelled into a microphone.
I did.
Yeah.
I need everyone to know that I'm trying to get my point across here. No, all right. Let's sign off.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
coming on.
guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for letting me join.
Yeah, for sure.
You kind of just jumped on.
I did, yeah.
Yeah,
We didn't
totally,
let you-
totally
Let's
weren't
be
invited.
honest.
I just saw the open mic and I sat down.
That's kind of cool.
And I'm really glad it was
I was
on.
like, that was awesome.
He was like, "Can I talk?"
Just started taking over.
So is this over? Or?
Yeah. We gotta
In a
do
second,
we gotta do
can you just let me
Thanks.
close this, bro?
Oh, I'm so no. I just
Oh, you want to?
I always wanted to go. So hey, that's really good. Because at Christmas time, I bring out my sweaty. Oh, sorry.
No, we
you,
had.
you can you can do you can.
No, we
No,
had-
no, we can't delete.
We had it.
Oh
we,
no! Don't say that.
We
Don't
can't
say
de-
that.
Can you just sign this off,
Be-
Sedge?
Oh no.
No, I'm serious.
hope this helped.
Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. I hope this helped. that sounds all right. I'm
All right,
tired.
Hold on. You can find us at the Modern Craft. What? Just let me
I
go
didn't
with
say
it.
anything.
TheModernCraftsman.org. I can't do a closeout without being judged by my partner over here.
Interrupted.
You can find us at TheModernCraftsman.org. Email us at info@TheModernCraftsman.org.
Your
The
comments.
Period. Modern Craftsman on Instagram.
I just whispered a swear into the mic, so I don't know how you bleep that out.
It's gonna be like that. And if you guys didn't know, all the dog barks because we get this question all the time. Is
I haven't gotten that question yet.
really?
Yeah.
We censored the podcast, and the reason we're doing that is to make sure our audience is broadened and we can hit the younger generation and hopefully use this in schools and
Yeah, I listen to podcasts with my boys, so
yeah. So it's like, we do our best to not swear on this, but when we do, Puff puts a little bark over it. But you guys shape it.
without your content, this podcast doesn't exist. So hit us up, DM us, email us with questions, content, topics, guests, all the above. 5-star review on iTunes if possible. If you don't like it, shoot us a DM.
Yeah, so John basically says, give us a good review, and if you don't, then just DM us and don't give us a bad review.
Yeah, because we can correct it.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Sedge, sign us out.
Okay, everybody. I hope this helps.